morning.
Welcome to the morning show.
Yeah.
The Big Show with Glenn and Angel on Kiss 92.
Good morning.
Sometimes getting out of bed in the morning is a lot to deal with all at once.
Good morning, Singapore. She's back from Juicy Parenting. Kelly Tay. Good morning, Kelly.
Good morning. Thanks for having me back.
Of course. Good morning, Kelly. I mean, it's been a couple of weeks since I've seen you.
Yes.
How have you been? What's new?
I'm good. What's new in my life is I just translated the Chinese version of my children's picture book.
Oh, amazing.
So pre-orders are happening right now.
Wow.
Lots of stories on that because the language is tricky.
Yeah, you can't convert
No.
directly,
It's
right?
not a direct thing.
Yeah.
So that's
You
what's
did
happening.
it. You said you were going to do it.
I know. And I did it. I'm really excited.
Amazing,
Yeah.
amazing. So today we're going to be talking about Asian parenting.
Yes.
Okay. Tell
So-
us more.
So, I mean, when we talk about Asian parenting, does it mean, we're comparing it to Western parenting?
Yeah, I mean, I try not to do that. I don't think
Yeah.
it's fruitful to kind of pit the two against each other.
Right.
There are, a lot of Asian parents don't hit their kids. It's not like we're one monolith that's the same. And just like how a lot of Western parents still do hit their kids. So I don't think it's really helpful to do these kind of black and white
Yeah.
comparisons.
Okay. So
But-
what is Asian parenting then?
So I think Asian parenting, the good part about it is this idea that, Asian parents, in my opinion, are really like up here when it comes to commitment. When it comes to like, I'm going to give my kid the best start in life, whether that's financially, whether that's, education wise, we provide very, very well. But when it comes to the emotional side, I think that's where we can improve, where we are more emotionally present for our kids, where we allow them to express emotions, not just happy ones, but also the difficult emotions, and help them learn how to be resilient even when the hard times come. I think that part we can do better at. And when I
Because we
think,
tend to be a bit conservative when it comes to that, right? We hold back our emotions.
yeah, and it's kind of seen as a weakness.
Yeah.
Like emotions are things that you don't express. It's weak if you show it. But actually the science is so clear that the more you try and suppress and repress these things, the harder it comes. It has to come out at some point. It's going to come
Right.
out in non-productive ways. So far better to kind of learn how to process these difficult emotions, learn that, these are waves, right? It will feel really difficult and you always come out of it. So I think if we can combine our fierce devotion to our kids in terms of providing for them with emotionally being present for them, wow, we would be
Perfect parents.
amazing parents. We would raise amazing children.
Are we improving in that area? I mean,
The emotional
back then
side?
compared to now, yes.
I think we definitely are. I think there's a lot more awareness that like feelings are not bad. They just are, and you just need to move through them with grace. But I think there's still a lot of this mindset around, this is weak, we are stoic, we press on, and that's it.
Wow.
So, yeah, I do see the change though.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's continue to talk to Kelly on The Big Show TV. Here's Jenny and Dominic Fike with Love Hangover on Kiss 92.
So how does one even begin to start to show that side of themselves to their children so that their children grow up more well-rounded and then they don't feel also embarrassed by the fact that they're showing their emotions, because that's really what it is, right? They don't want to show the public or anyone else from the family that they're crying or hugging or kissing or, doting on.
How come we can't understand that, Angel? Is it the way we were brought up? That's why.
No, I mean, I was brought up. I feel like my dad wasn't so much a hugger or a love shower. My mom a little bit more, but I always understood it.
Yeah.
I always understood that everyone needs love.
Yeah.
That, to me, that's just something that I knew.
Yeah. I mean, I think there are two sides to this. So on the one hand, there's the difficult emotions, like the crying and being upset. And a lot of times parents are like, don't cry, stop crying,
Yeah.
shh, right? And that's the hard emotions. Then there's the love part. So let's talk about the hard emotions part. I think it's so difficult for parents because number one, noise is very triggering, right? Like the crying, it's like, it's so overwhelming. And a lot of times we're just like, just stop. But I think underlying that is a deeper fear that, oh gosh, if I can't even stop my child from crying, if I can't even help them be happy, what kind of a parent am I? So there's this narrative of like, I have to stop this thing. But actually part of what I teach is that, children part of how they communicate is through crying, even adults. But if you think of like not yet verbal kids, they can't be like, Mama, I'm having a really hard day.
Yeah.
Can you please help me? They're not going to do that. They're going to be like, yeah, and let it all out. And so the more we can be there and help them, realize it's okay to feel this way. Everyone has hard times, and crying is part of your body's process to kind of move through these emotions. And you feel really difficult right now, but no challenging feeling stays forever. So to your question of how can we help them and start this journey, just number one, being present and showing them that, hey, I can sit through these difficult emotions with you. You are not alone, and they will pass. And that teaches kids that, okay, the next time a hard feeling happens, hey, I can do this. It's going to feel difficult right now, and I will come through the other side. Versus when we shut it down and we just like stop crying, they never get to experience that range of emotions. And so they never actually feel the coming down. They just feel suppression. It's not very healthy.
Because a lot of parents, I feel, will bring up kids the way they were brought up.
100%.
And a lot of parents that you're talking about, they don't cry and they don't show
Yes.
emotions. So it's very hard for them to understand
Yeah.
why the child is doing that as
But
well.
what about time and place? That's the right time and
Yeah.
place to do certain things. My parents always taught me that.
Same, yeah.
Right? I mean, I think I was brought up in a very it wasn't like Asian parenting, I feel. Because my mom's Eurasian. She's from a Eurasian family, and my dad is Chinese, but then he was also educated abroad in the UK. So I felt like I think maybe the way they brought me up was a little
More Western.
a
little bit more.
You know what I mean? Where I could express myself.
That's great.
But they made it very clear. If you want to throw a tantrum or raise your voice or be angry, don't do it in public.
Okay.
So I knew if I were to lose it in public and my dad just looked at me, I knew. I
The
knew,
stare,
like, okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like that is a good thing.
I
Don't you
think
think?
so,
Rather
yeah.
than I mean, these days I see many kids in public, they're screaming, they're lying on the floor, just not wanting to move and things like that. What's your take on that, Kelly?
I mean, I think the first thing to realize is that for kids, we really do have to grant them a little bit more grace than we do adults, simply because of their brain. So the part of the brain that's responsible for understanding time and place
Right.
really only fully develops in your late 20s.
What?
Late 20s. And I'm not saying that therefore, 20-year-olds are going to be crying on the floor. No, it's just that the part of the brain that's responsible for emotional regulation and impulse control fully, like 100% develops really then. So imagine a 3-year-old. They're not even, oh my gosh, they're not even
Right.
1/10 the way.
I guess 3 is kind of young.
It's small, but
So then-
so if Cheyenne were to like lose it at USS, she's still okay because she hasn't hit her late 20s yet. that bit's not developed yet.
Cheyenne, is this giving you a free pass today? Yes?
Yes.
No mommy ride?
You can cry anytime you want.
All feelings are okay, Cheyenne.
But I mean, children are so smart. You know what I mean? And I feel children learn from day zero.
Right.
That's how I feel. Having 2 kids myself, I've always approached it as they know what they're doing. They'll
Right.
know how to manipulate you. They'll know how to get their way around you. They'll
Right.
know what sort of emotions they're showing. But so I have to argue that I feel that kind of training in that sense, but good training can start from the day they're born.
Yeah, so I think how we do this, where we teach them, I think it is important, first of all, to teach them appropriate time and place. I guess where I come from is how do we do that? Can we do that in a kinder manner than just, I'm going to shout at you so that everything stops?
Yeah.
Versus, if a 3-year-old, first of all, when we see them throwing a tantrum on the floor, we realize, okay, it's nothing personal. Your brain is
Cannot
literally
process.
incapable of processing these feelings right now. So I'm going to help you. And the mistake parents make is I leave you alone to process.
Right.
That drives them further down into the part of the brain that's in alarm mode, in fight or flight mode. You're just going to see the tantrum escalate, right? A lot of people say just ignore them, it'll stop. A lot
Right,
of times
yeah.
it doesn't stop, it goes higher. And that's why you get parents in a restaurant who look like they're doing nothing
Yeah.
and the kid is exploding. So in those situations, I always say the parent has to be present and
Yeah.
available.
Yeah.
And so time and place,
Yep.
take the kid out. They should not be disrupting other diners, obviously.
Okay.
Yes.
And then go to a quiet spot, a private spot. It's actually better for your child as well because
Yeah.
it's not so stressful. People are not looking.
What about in the plane though?
In the plane.
You
Oh,
can't
I am
exactly take them
flying.
anywhere, you know?
Yeah.
You can't take them out of the plane, right? Obviously. So how do you handle that situation? Because lots of kids, parents are flying now because of the holidays.
Yes. Where possible, and I'm talking of young kids, I focus on the 0 to 6 age.
Okay.
Where possible, try and, first of all, don't try and escalate it by, doubling down and being like, okay, you're going to keep being like that. I'm not your friend, or, that kind of harsh thing, because it drives them further into that alarm mode. Be present and really be like, okay, I understand this is really difficult for you. Unfortunately, we can't get off the plane and we're here. I'm going to hold you. And then we have to kind of accept they may have to cry a little bit because it's so difficult. And if it's really escalating, see if you can walk away.
Yeah.
My place
Like
of
go
choice
to the loo or
is the
whatever
loo.
it is,
Yes,
yeah.
at least somewhere where you can close the door and, you're really doing your best.
And it's just you and the child
And then you
handling
can
it.
really be physically present, right? Without, I think when you're in the plane and you're seeing other people stare at you, that's when the stress comes in as
Yeah.
well. And it is a difficult situation.
And most of the time, it's because the child is uncomfortable.
Sometimes
I
it's the
think.
ears. It's the
Yeah.
ears. It's always the ears.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back on here.
Kiss 92 traffic.
If you're heading up north to Malaysia, the queues have started. It's a 2-hour wait via the Woodlands Causeway and 130 minutes via the Tuas checkpoint. But other than that, if you're on the PIE towards Tuas before Clementi Avenue 6's exit, look out for an accident. Also on the ECP heading into the city, a vehicle is having trouble at the Rocha Road exit. Wherever you are this morning, stay safe.
Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for today is our friend Kelly Tay, who's here once a month on a Friday to help you out, especially if you've come across a situation where you just don't know what to do when it comes to your kid. Once again, Kelly is an expert who focuses on kids below the age of 6, right?
0 to 6.
And Asian families in particular.
And Asian families, that's right.
You have the benefit of having I won't say the best of both worlds, but the view of, especially your kids as well, the view of both worlds with the Western parenting and the Asian parenting. You're off on a holiday to see your husband's family in Canada, right? And is there any conflict when it comes to bringing up the children, because you come from an Asian upbringing and obviously he comes from a more Western upbringing. So when it comes to the children, what happens there?
Yeah. I mean, I think we're in a lucky position where, because we have those two worlds, we're able to kind of decide for ourselves, okay, what do we like from these two worlds? What are we keeping and what do we not like, and what are we getting rid of, and creating something wholly our own in the process. And I think that, which is why at the beginning we were talking about Western versus Asian parenting. And I really don't like that false dichotomy, because there's actually a lot that's similar and a lot that's very different.
Oh, yeah.
And, with Western parenting, I would say that they're definitely better with the emotions part. Definitely better with being like, okay, you can express your feelings. They don't automatically take it as disobeying you, or being unfilial. And then I would say on the Asian side, it's really wonderful, again, going back to how we really give our kids every single head start possible.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially education-wise, and really being on the forefront of that. But I would say for both of us, we've had to have many honest conversations about what we didn't like growing up.
And I think that's what any parent should have,
Anyone.
right? They should have that conversation about children.
Even parents who come from the same cultural background, there will be differences, right? No two families are exactly the same. And I always tell people, just pay attention to those differences. As uncomfortable as it is, pay attention, because that's where you're going to find the gold, and you get to decide, what do we want to keep? Either
good
or,
stuff,
or do
yeah.
we do something completely different?
I like what you said. You take all the good stuff from your childhood and from your parents, and you say that's what you want to give your children, and that's how those are the kind of principles and ethics that you want your children to have.
Yes, exactly. And I think, for me, I call it respectful parenting. And every time I say that, people are just like, what is respectful parenting? What does this even mean? And I think people are more familiar with the concept of gentle parenting or conscious parenting, positive parenting. There are lots of these different names. We're all kind of saying the same thing. I like the word respect because I think it cuts to the heart of Asian families. We, it's a big value for us. Long may it continue. I think the problem with Asian parenting is that respect tends to only go one way and it only goes
upwards. Yeah.
Right? To people, not just parenting, but even societally, right? To people with more authority, people who are higher in hierarchy, people who are older than you. And a big part of my message is, hey, it should go down as well to the littlest among us, including children, including babies. And not because there's this saying, you have to earn my respect. It's not given to you. And what I try and teach my kids is, everyone who's a human being, they deserve respect. Not because they've earned it, but because they're human. They're alive. They are worthy of respect from the beginning. That includes a little baby.
Absolutely.
I love that.
So what have you decided to chuck?
In terms of upbringing, principles and stuff.
For sure, caning.
Okay.
So that's one thing. And I have to say, it's a big thing for me because when I was growing up, prior to having kids, I thought, confirm, gonna cane. Confirm.
Can I ask if your parents did that with you?
Yes,
Okay.
not
All
as much as my poor brother got it more.
right.
Older boy.
Okay.
But I definitely got caned, and as I was growing up, I was like, yeah, this is the way to go. This is how we teach kids. We have to come down hard. And then what changed was I became a mom myself, and I did all these courses to learn more about like the psychology and the neuroscience behind things. And I realized that, oh gosh, science actually tells us differently, that caning is punitive and it actually shuts things down. It doesn't actually teach kids anything different. It teaches them to hide their mistakes better, not to do differently next time. And if we think about, kids need to see us model the right path. I don't want my kids learning that the way to solve a problem is through
by hitting.
violence.
Yeah.
All right, if you've got some questions for Kelly, you can send us your questions via our Facebook page. All right,
That's
let's
right.
continue to talk to Kelly on The Big Show TV. The time is 8:21.
Kiss 92 Time Check by Pooh.
Yeah, and how? I couldn't cane my kids, I think.
I mean,
I think it would break my heart.
you do get angry with your children. I mean, there
Oh,
are
very.
times when you're like,
Rage.
oh my gosh, why did I even have you kind of thing in your head?
But you feel like whacking
Yeah,
them.
I mean, anger is anger.
It's physical.
Feeling is very different from doing.
Okay.
You can feel like you're going to kill someone, but you don't actually kill somebody, right? So when you say you don't think you could ever do it, you'd be surprised at what
Sometimes
humans
it's
can
like
do.
good cop,
Bad cop. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So is that actually healthy? Because I
With
would
couples,
think
right?
like if both parents were to punish the kid, spank the kid or whatever, it would be better rather than one parent.
One be the disciplinarian and the other
Exactly.
be the
That's more stressful, right?
I mean, definitely in an ideal situation, both parents are on the same page.
Yeah.
That's the most effective. And that way kids learn that you come to mommy, she's going to tell you the same thing that daddy just told you. And you're not having your kids pit you against each other. So ideally, yes, if everyone could be on the same page, that's great. But we all know in reality, that's not really how it works.
no sides, basically.
Yeah. A lot of my, the members in my community, a lot of them do have most of them are women, and some of them do have spouses who are very, very harsh. And in those situations, well, you really have to focus on what you can control. If you know that your spouse is probably not going to change their mind anytime soon, then I always say just focus on yourself. There's a lot of work to do there, even on our own, what we can improve as parents. And just trust that at least you are giving your child one safe adult
Right.
that they
Oh,
can come to.
dear.
Because otherwise, imagine if both are really, really harsh. The child learns that there's no one they can turn to when they've made a mistake. Because if I turn to my mom, gonna hantam. If I turn to my dad, same thing. So not going to turn to either of them, gonna try and solve this problem on my own.
And that's when they go.
That's when the trouble starts.
That's when they rebel. Yeah.
and because, especially now with the internet and social media, they're going to turn online.
Yeah.
They're going to turn online to people who may not be the most savory of characters,
Yeah.
who don't have their best interests at heart. That's going to be really difficult. And as parents, even the harshest parents that I've spoken to, when I present that situation, they're like, yeah, I would rather my kid come to me.
Yeah, of
Right?
course.
And
yeah.
so if you rather your kid come to you, you have to build the relationship where they do come to you.
When it comes to 0 to 6, I know 0 to 6 is very young. That's like preschool, right? Do you deal with things like screen time and stuff like that, because I see so many babies, maybe like as soon as they can hold something, they're holding tablets, they're holding phones and stuff, especially for the Asian parents. How can we entertain our children so that we don't need those devices as babysitters?
Yeah, I think the first thing is to realize children don't need entertainment, actually. They've become used to the idea that there is something to distract me away from what's happening right now, right? Actually, children are really wonderful at entertaining themselves. They're so creative, amazingly creative, even without a toy on the table. Let's say when they're waiting for food to arrive, they can, the chopstick suddenly become something, okay, drumming may be a bit loud, but they could, be playing with
bridges or whatever it is.
Exactly. I think what's difficult about this is Asian parents often see that as like naughty.
Yes.
Don't play with
Put it down.
your food. Put it down.
Yeah.
Right? But actually realizing that little scientists, again, children are little scientists. They're going to find ways to use different things in unconventional ways. We shouldn't squash that. But the difficulty is parents see that as bad behavior. And so to quell that bad behavior, they bring out an iPad to be like, okay, at least with this, you're just focused on it and then you're not doing the other things.
Yeah.
So part of it is changing our mindset around what bad behavior really is.
Or have something for them to
Bring
play
a book,
with
bring something,
without
right?
the utensils.
Yeah, it really is. I personally am very worried about screen time with kids. I think that kids are definitely getting way too much screen time.
Yeah.
Even if you look internationally, the guidelines are not coherent. They are not simply because no one really knows what is too much. Everyone knows it's bad for you, but no one really knows how much is too much. So there are these arbitrary guidelines, none before the age of 2 in some countries.
2?
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
yes.
that's so young.
And then some countries are like 1 hour, not more than 1 hour. And then, parents are kind of left to muddle it out. Singapore has their own guidelines as well.
Yeah.
But I think that we shouldn't have to rely on guidelines to go with common sense. We know that these things are extremely addictive for adults. What more for children and the developing brains?
Yeah.
I've seen children melt down when their devices have been taken away from them.
No, and that's the thing, right? I think parents just want to distract their kids,
Yeah.
and that's the reason why
Keep
they're
them quiet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's why they're given these devices
Because it's
to begin with.
it's so overstimulating,
It
and
is.
it's such immediate gratification.
really
And they're
is.
just literally they're staring in, and they almost look like they're hypnotized by the screen. They don't know anything else going on around them.
It's got to be bad for their eyes
It's very
as well.
bad. Yeah,
It
very
is.
very bad.
It is. And their brains and,
Development as well.
development, because you have to also think of the opportunity cost. What is not happening when your kid is on these devices for so long? They're not having conversations as much. They're not playing creatively.
They're not
with other
thinking.
things. They're not thinking, right?
Yeah.
They're getting things fed to them. And so even things like at mealtime, when we put a screen in front of them, we're depriving them of the opportunity of learning. How do we behave at mealtimes? How do we have a conversation? How do we wait for food?
And we should get rid of our screens as well at
100%,
mealtime.
100%. I mean, it starts with modeling, right? As parents, I often see families, there's the mom, the dad, and the 2 kids, and everyone's on their screen. And it's like, no, let's try to do the opposite. But
Yeah.
it is hard, and it does take intention from us. So we're the adults, we lead the way. And my husband and I, we will put our phones aside. And if any of us start using it, we'll like shoot each other a look like, hey, I'm going to keep you accountable here.
Yeah, it's tough.
It is tough.
I've had to live with that.
What?
The people I'm with,
Oh,
they're
being
always
on their
the phone.
phones?
Yeah,
No.
exactly. But maybe it's because of the industry we're in. But still, that's no excuse. right?
Nothing is going to change in that 1 hour that you're having a meal.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But these days everyone wants to post everything. The moment
can
you sit
post
down
Oh, I
for
see what you're
dinner,
saying.
Yeah.
you take out your phone, you start taking photos.
I mean, taking
and-
photos and all that is fine, but you can post later.
Yeah, you think
can
it's fine.
wait.
Actually, it's irritating.
It's-
It's really irritating. Okay, let's go back on air once again.
Kiss 92 traffic.
Okay, there is heavy traffic all over the place because it is peak hour after all, and specifically on the PIE towards Tuas before the Clementi Avenue 6 exit. Look out because an accident has occurred there and been reported. If we're looking at the causeway, both causeways are about a 2-hour wait, both Woodlands and Tuas. So wherever you are, plan your journey and stay safe.
Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. We are talking to Kelly Tay from Juicy Parenting. You can follow her at juicy.parenting.
Okay, we have Bernard that came on our Facebook page, and he's asking, is it right to call out the mistakes of your spouse in front of your child.
Ooh.
Or have an argument, I suppose, or call them out, whatever it is. What do you have to say about that?
So I prefer tapping your spouse out. So when you're seeing that your spouse
Rear
is...
naked choking your spouse.
No. Tapping them out as in, okay, you're having a hard time clearly, like it's difficult right now. So, hey, I'll take over. Why don't you have a rest? So that's how I tend to come in being like, why don't you have a rest? I will take over. And really seeing you as your spouse as a team. And in a team, you wouldn't call each other out publicly, right?
Yeah.
You would kind of talk about it later. It's not your kid's problem anyway. They don't have to hear it.
What about behavioral or something that he said or she's said, that's the spouse.
Right.
And you don't want the child to sort of be influenced by that, or you think he's doing wrongly. Maybe he's treated the waiter wrongly
right, I see
or
what
something,
you're
some it's just calling them out. How would we handle that in front of the children?
Yeah, so I think bedtime chats are something I really keep sacred. I think these are the times where I hold these conversations. And I might say something like, hey, earlier you saw Dada do this. I want to let you know I don't agree with it. I think he was having a difficult time and he will talk to you about it later. He'll apologize, whatever it is. And then being very clear that just because someone has poor behavior doesn't mean that they are a bad person. Making that distinction and letting my kids know that, hey, even adults are learning.
We slip once in a
We
while.
slip sometimes, and what's important is we take accountability, and then we grow and we move forward from that. So I think it is important to speak to poor behavior. It's just that we don't have to villainize the other person while we are at it.
And you don't have to do it there and then.
No.
Okay, there you go, Bennett.
Kids below the age of 6, is there any justification at all to label them, some of them, depending on their behavior, as a brat?
In what situations would you call someone a brat?
Like really
Naughty,
uncontrollable, talking back. Maybe we'll go with the 5 or 6 year olds
Okay.
because they're
The older
old
ones,
enough. And
Maybe going around pinching others and
yeah,
stuff like that.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Destroying things. I guess my question is, if a kid is bratty at that age, can they grow out of it? And how do we help them grow out of that?
I love this question because I have had clients exactly like this, with kids like this who come to me being like, save my child. And actually through talking to them, we realize that it's not about saving the child. It's saving how the parents have been parenting, because they have been modeling behavior that kind of starts this process. And not saying that the parents are brats, but the parents have become so harsh that the child gets virtually zero positive attention. And so they're trying to find attention in other ways.
Attention seeking.
Yeah, and you see, the thing is, all humans, not just kids, all humans, we want to feel seen and heard. We want to feel valued and that the people we love us back. And especially for kids, this drive is very strong, particularly with parents. And when they feel they're not getting that, they are going to find ways to get attention, even if it's negative attention. Even when it is caning and shouting at you, it's like, okay, you're paying attention to me.
You've got their time.
I've got you. And
Yeah.
that's so, I'm not saying they're manipulative. They're not doing this on purpose. It's literally this drive of like, can you see me? Can you connect with me? And actually talking with these clients, good on them. They actually have been able to acknowledge, yes, okay, we have been very harsh. We're going to find a different way forward. And so asking, how do we outgrow this with kids? It's actually the parents who have to start changing how they parent a little bit so that they're not so harsh. Their kids are getting positive responses and feedback early on, not just, having to act out in order to get that. And then slowly you see that behavior change. And we have seen that. Even in weeks, parents, they often come to me because the teachers are complaining that your child is throwing tables in school, flipping things over. And I think one of my members, just 2 weeks after, the parent came home, the teacher called home with a positive report saying something is changing with your child.
Oh, that's nice.
And 1 year later, her child is now, he went from, being so disengaged in class, not just not speaking up, he was disrupting class. 1 year on, glowing report card saying that, he is not just not disrupting anymore, but he's engaged, he's asking thoughtful questions, he's helping his classmates along. Nothing else changed in this child's life except parenting.
That's amazing.
See, parents, there is hope.
There is hope.
Just in case you're losing hope.
And it starts with us.
We just got one comment from Matthew, and if you quickly want to comment on that, and then we can wrap it up. Matthew says about the devices, giving devices to the kids. He says it's also the comparison. When kids see other kids watching, sometimes it's not easy to manage without going through some difficult scenes. He says, and there's a lot of pressure on parents these days to parent gently, but also be firm. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. We are a very judgy society, and I do understand why some parents take the easy way out and use devices to keep their children quiet.
Yeah, I mean, part of this, he's right. Society has to shift their mindset a little bit to say, hey, can we be kinder to parents and less judgmental? We've all been there. We know how hard it is with young kids. That's number one. Number two, he talked about how, it's hard to give these things up without having the kids melt down and have, big
Creating
outbursts.
a scene, yeah.
But that's part of the problem. When parents are afraid of their children's big emotions, that's when we go into permissive territory. We start doing things we otherwise wouldn't do. Maybe we start with, I'm not going to give you a phone. And then we see our child's melting down. Okay, fine, I have the phone.
Yeah.
No, we don't do that. We have to stand our ground and realize that a boundary is a boundary. The way we assert it is kindly. I'm not going to be like, no, I already told you cannot, and snatch it away. I'm going to be like, I understand you're upset. You're allowed to be upset with my decision. And I'm still moving the phone away. It's not good for your brain. I'm your parent. My number one job is to keep you safe. That includes not having screen time. That's what I say with my kids. And my kids definitely have friends who are like, but I'm watching this movie, I'm watching this show. And they're like, but everyone else knows about da-da-da-da.
But I don't, yeah.
Yeah, and so what we try, like Frozen, for example. I'm like, we can read the Frozen book. I can tell you the story about it.
Yeah.
Just not the movie, not right
So
yet.
they've never seen it?
No.
Oh, wow.
But they know all
okay.
the songs, they know the storyline because we read the books, they listen to the songs on Spotify. There are ways to get around it. We just have to accept that I will be unpopular, but I will do the right thing for my kid.
And I'll grow up better.
For the children. Brain will be
the children, my brain.
See, that's Asian parenting for you, right? I mean, firm.
It's a different
I'm
way of
very
Asian
respectful.
parenting. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very
absolutely.
firm. I'm just
Yeah.
very kind while I do it. I try to be. I'm not perfect. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Kelly, for joining us.
Thank you,
for
Kelly.
having us.
We look forward to
Happily.
seeing you in 3 months' time. Then.
Well, I'm going to dial in, I think.
We'll see her online.
We'll try.
Oh,
Yes.
fantastic!
So it's
you
gonna
can show us
shift.
around as well.
So the last Friday of
Last
the
Friday
month,
of every
right?
month,
Okay,
yeah.
Brilliant.
amazing.
Thank you so much, Kelly.
Thank you.
Once again, you can follow Kelly at juicy.parenting.
Hello again, and we have Dahlia of kakimakan.bh. That's where you can find them on social media. It is Dahlia, of course, and she comes in every Friday to talk about the best halal food available, like Glenn's curry puffs.
Dahlia bought me epo.
What epo? Curry puff?
This from
curry?
upstairs.
Oh, upstairs.
Potato.
From
and sardines.
Azman.
Azman has the best curry puffs.
Sardine and potato. I see you now. I feel hungry.
What is your food today?
Oh, this is very exciting. So it's actually mostly Western food. We have Butcher's Table and also Charrbo Grill, which is at the coffee shop in Yishun. So it's actually all open fire, charcoal grilled food, even in the coffee shop. So
Wow.
yes.
Okay.
I just want to say, usually we cannot eat in the studio, but only when Dahlia is here, then we have the license.
The permission, is it?
To
Okay.
makan. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes. Okay. So for the first one that I will share about, it's the Butcher's Table, is owned by Rafiq, also known as Renga. So Rafiq is his Muslim name. So he is actually revered. So you might know that actually before that he's been out there trying the non-halal meats and really going to different restaurants. So that's when he realized there was a huge gap.
Oh,
You know-
okay. So
Yes.
he's tried the both worlds.
Yes, both
right?
worlds,
Okay,
yes.
got it.
Yeah, so then he opened a butcher called the Meatery. So that's where he, serve or provide like really good quality meats, cut of steaks, and also sausages. And even he created guanciale, the beef guanciale, which is something that's very unheard of. We have like beef tallow and everything that's normally very hard to find. So
So the guanciale, is it beef cheek?
beef cheek.
It is
Yes,
beef
beef
cheek.
cheek.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, so it's really very delicious and very hard to find. So then he expanded to a deli. So a deli sandwich called Deli by the Meatery. So it's like cold cut sandwiches. And then now his latest one is the Butcher's Table
Wow.
at 8 Jalan Kelapa. Again, Arab Street.
He's doing quite a
Sounds so
lot.
good, the Butcher's
I
Table.
tell you, I was at Arab Street yesterday. That area is bustling with so many different types of foods and smells and colors. And
Yes.
I mean, really, every Friday we say this, but we really need to go down and have a look at what they've
Singapore,
got.
you guys need to check out Arab Street.
Yeah,
Yes.
so much to offer. So
Forget
much.
all the hawker centers. Just go to Arab Street.
It's a really good experience.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, there's so many options at Arab Street, but I think this is one of the few ones that I think you should visit. So it's actually a cozy restaurant, I would say. It's like 28-seater, so it's very intimate. And what they are known as is actually their dry-aged beef, and they grill it over Japanese binchotan charcoal and also lychee wood. So you know that you don't need to eat your steak with any sauces because the steak
wow.
are really good. So you just have your sea salt flakes, and then it's dry-aged, so you get the umaminess of
my God.
the beef and
That's the
its
way, man.
tenderness. It's tender and it's like complex in flavor.
There you
So
go.
yes, it's just as simple as that. And it's being dry aged from between 21 to 28 days. So they have cocoa tallow that actually covers the outside of it. And this is so delicious. It's grilled sourdough with bacon jam.
Bacon
It's
jam.
so delicious.
Wait,
It's,
so what is the bacon?
this is the bacon.
So it's beef.
It's
Beef
like- it's
bacon.
Like,
I
beef
think.
bacon.
Beef bacon.
Beef
Beef
bacon,
bacon.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's like really very sweet, very tender, and it's.
This would probably convert me out of being vegetarian, man. It's like bacon butter. I'm like,
Beef.
I'm sorry, beef. Well, it's bacon,
Yeah.
right?
Beef strips.
I told them
Okay.
to bottle it up.
Okay, we're going back on air.
Bacon jam.
Well, that looks really good.
Right, with bread.
Kiss 92 traffic.
I'm telling you, every time I open my checkpoint.sg app, the timing for the causeway wait keeps going up. So I think lots of people are going up to Malaysia. Via the Woodlands Causeway, it's 135 minutes, and via the Tuas Link, it's 110 minutes. Elsewhere, if you're on the PIE heading towards the airport after Paya Lebar Road, look out for an accident. This is taking up space in lane 1. Also on the AYE towards Tuas at Jalan Ahmad Ibrahim's entrance, a vehicle has broken down. If you see anything else out there that's worth sharing, please let us know. 8855 0920.
Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Every Friday at this time, we're joined by our favorite journalist from Berita Harian, bh.sg, at kakimakan.bh. We've got Dahlia. Good morning, Dahlia.
Morning, hi.
Good morning, and today it's Western halal food.
Yes.
Right? Tell us a little bit more about the first one you have.
Okay, so for the first one is the butcher's table. It's actually opened by Rafiq Auringa. So he's a revert to Islam, and he opened his own butcher called the Meatery, and also a deli sandwich called Deli by the Meatery. So now he just opened the butcher's table that's open at 8 Jalan Kelapa very recently, and they specialize in dry aged meat. So as I mentioned just now, they actually prepare the steaks and grill it over Japanese binchotan charcoal and local lychee wood. So it's very aromatic, so delicious and tender. And they serve it with just sea salt flakes. No sauces needed, but if you want, you can actually order them.
Oh,
Yes.
There are some pictures.
if you're watching us on The Big Show TV right now, my goodness. That looks so delicious. Medium rare, I think,
Yes,
by the
it is
looks of
medium
it.
rare.
And just with the salt flakes, perfect.
It's dry aged for 21 days.
Wow,
Yes.
okay.
But what are the prices like, Dahlia? Would you
around-
say reasonable?
It's reasonable. It's around like $30-$40 depending on the cut of meat.
Really?
It's still okay. And then they also have like your picanha as well, your wagyu picanha. You have your ribeye, and they even have grilled sea bass. That's also dry aged, which I've never heard of before.
Wow.
So meaning they want a more firmer meat and still sweet. But I'm quite only exposed to actually dry aged meat, but not
The
dry
seafood.
aged. Dry
Dry-
seafood.
Dry
yes.
aged sea bass, you said?
Yes.
Wow.
There's one more actually. There's a dessert. So it's actually the fat cat brownie. So I've mentioned that they own. They own a butcher, right? So that's where they make their own beef guanciale. So it's beef cheek guanciale. So you see, it's actually brownies with beef tallow. There's beef tallow served with ice cream and also beef guanciale at the top.
Oh my gosh, that's beef guanciale on top.
Yes.
I thought it was like
What?
dates or something.
No, beef guanciale. It's so.
You've tried
Sweet
it.
and savory,
I love it.
so
Sweet and
good.
savory,
If
yeah.
you love sea salt chocolate chips or anything sweet and salty,
Oh.
this is like the perfect balance. Because for me, when I have something sweet again, I need to counterbalance with something
Savory,
salty. So this is so good.
Wow.
It's so good.
And they're located at 8 Jalan Kelapa,
And
right?
this is also Arab Street.
Arab
yes,
Street.
this is Arab Street.
Okay.
Yes.
But how's the ambience of the restaurant? Romantic or not? Because these days I'm always looking to bring my dates to different places.
I would say, since it's like quite a small or cozy setting, 28-seater, I would say it's quite cozy. And as you go in, like most of the interior is pretty dark.
Oh, there you
black.
go.
You know, so it's
Perfect.
really very like intimate and cozy. And I think there's really like not much decor. It's very simple and it's not too pretentious.
So
really,
no distractions. You just look at the woman's
Yes.
face or the man's
yeah,
face.
most
Perfect.
actually two-seater. So yes, perfect for
There you go.
dating.
Dates.
Yeah.
She said dark and intimate. You're already like, okay.
Of course. And if the paparazzi try anything also, maybe it won't be so clear.
You black it out as well, yeah.
Okay, what else? Butcher's table, and then we're going to be talking about
Charrbo Grill.
Charrbo Grill means the girls'
Yes,
grill.
so Charrbo is I heard it's woman.
It's
Hokkien
for women.
For
women
women.
or
Yes,
girl,
okay.
yeah.
This is amazing because there are two female ITE lecturers, and they left their jobs to actually open this
Charrbo Grill.
Charrbo Grill at a Yishun coffee shop, which I was like, oh my god, that's insane. And they're in their mid-30s. So they're
Oh,
thinking,
wow.
if I don't do it now, when will I do it? So lots of respect to them. And even though it's in a coffee shop setting, right, they also grill their meats
Amazing.
over fire. Yes. So if I'm not wrong, again, it is also binchotan and also I think applewood chips.
So it's Jessica Tan and Norhaida Ramli.
Ramli.
They're
Look
on
at
screen
them,
now.
so
Yes.
cute. Okay,
Charrbo.
Cheyenne is showing me the
Okay.
red card already.
Very
okay,
cool.
let's play the song by Tate McRae and continue to talk to Dahlia on the Big Show TV. Just keep watching. I love this song on Kiss 92.
Is this from the F1 movie?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I'm watching
So
it next
good.
week.
So good.
Okay, so I'm looking at some of the unique items that they have on their menu, like charred beef fries sambal ketchup
Yes.
with beef slices. What's that all about?
Okay, so this is the
That's that.
charred beef fries. So they actually char the beef. They will grill it first and then char it on top of the applewood chips. So it's very aromatic. And their sauce, I mean, they really put a lot of sauces. But the only issue that I feedback or even mention in the video is that the sambal ketchup not spicy. So because you say sambal
More
ketchup,
sweet
I need
than
the
anything.
kick, right? And then
Yeah.
there's mayo, so it's very rich. So I need something to again counter that
That
very
richness.
that
balance,
yes, I
yeah.
need something to balance it. But again, I say it's really very good for sharing because I think it's only like 5 or 7, between 5.90 to 7.90. So in terms of the portion, I would say it's quite worth it to share as a side.
Okay.
Yep.
And
But that's
then-
probably really good feedback that you've been,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that
Yes,
you've
yeah.
given them.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
just easy, a little bit on the sauce
Yeah.
and a little bit
lighten
more
it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
pedas.
Yes, pedas. Yes, more kick.
And I'm seeing a charrbo laksa with prawns and sous vide egg.
Yes. So yes, it's a charrbo laksa.
So
it's,
pretty.
Yes, the pasta laksa, it's very creamy, like very aromatic. I would say it's more towards the Chinese style of laksa, not the Malay kind.
It's drier, is it?
Yes,
Yeah.
correct. But I would say it's still very creamy, and the prawns are very generous. So it starts from 6.90 onwards. Then you will have to add on your protein, any protein that you wanna pick actually, with the sous vide egg. So actually the sauce of the laksa is very creamy. So you have that sous vide egg, you split it with the yolk. It's just gonna add extra richness. I think for me again, I need more rempah because I need something to again counteract the creaminess. 'Cause
And
for me,
that's
I'm
just you, right?
It's just me. It's just like, it's too rich.
Yeah.
No, but I relate.
Yeah, I do.
You know,
yeah.
I'll probably
I know what
feel
you
the same way.
Yeah. But I think what I really have to respect the both of them is actually they're both women.
mean. And they pivoted
Yes,
from
yeah.
education to.
Yeah.
I am
food.
woman, hear
Hear
me
me
roar.
Yeah, I mean it's not easy being in a male-dominated
No.
space, and I
But is
think
it really still like that?
yeah, I
It
mean
is
the way
though.
they do, you have to work doubly as hard and be loud, show they're not weak because I think being in the kitchen is not easy. Especially their backgrounds prior to teaching was actually working in restaurants, and you work long hours, right? So they might think that maybe we don't have the strength or that capability to
What
stand.
nonsense? Who says that?
Apparently. So they mentioned that to all the IT students when they were coming for an interview, it's like, are you really ready for this? Like, do you really have are you rugged enough to be in this industry? Because I think the turnover rate also is quite high. So I think it's pretty interesting that they're also lecturers, and some of the students actually come back
Yeah.
to the coffee shop because sometimes when you're in a restaurant you specialize in certain area. Maybe I'll just take care of the grill and just focus on grilling the meats, but this you have to talk to customers, wash the plates, everything,
money,
Yes,
everything,
all,
yeah.
you have to do
Yeah.
everything. Yep.
What else do they have on offer at?
Charrbo.
Okay,
Charrbo
the
Grill.
best thing though, the
That's
chicken
it,
chop.
right? Chicken chop.
The chicken chop really is so delicious, so tender, and you can really taste the okay, so first they grill it over the griller, right? And then there's actually the side there where there's the applewood chips. So that's where they will smoke the meat. And it's so aromatic and so juicy for $8.90.
Oh, that's the prices
That's a-
sound really good.
yeah, it's
actually.
I think they have to
Up
raise
it a
the
bit,
prices.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean to survive,
Because you're talking about the
Yeah.
prawn laksa and you're saying like 6 plus. I'm like,
6.90
really?
onwards,
What? Yeah.
You see lah, Charrbo, you see?
Yeah. I think how you
They're
gonna
being nice.
cover? I mean, the ingredients.
So you're
already-
saying $6 up without the prawns?
Without the prawns.
Without the prawns.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
Got it.
then just add maybe like $4 to $5 for the prawns.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
more like it.
Too
Okay.
much prawn, so not
Not
so
good.
Yeah, it's not
Too
good.
high in cholesterol.
Yeah, but I'd say the best thing is the chicken chop.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Very interesting.
Charrbo chicken chop. Okay. So chicken chop and let me see the ribeye steak you were talking about earlier on.
Yes, correct.
The ribeye steak, best medium or medium well?
I would say medium rare actually.
Medium rare.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think for me, I prefer medium rare. I think it's just really just nice. Balance is still very tender. Yeah, and I think at Butcher's Table actually there were more dishes also that I've shared.
Okay.
So they actually had grilled scallops over corn puree, and there's guanciale at the top.
Do we have pictures of
Yes,
that?
we do have
The
pic-
corn
Yeah.
from
So
Butcher's Block.
It's really very delicious.
Butcher's
Butcher's
Table.
Table.
sorry. Butcher's Table. Is there a Butcher's Block somewhere? I feel like
Sounds
there's-
familiar.
Yeah, it does, right?
I think so.
Oh, that's the fries.
Yes.
Yum yum.
Oh, that's Dahlia.
Look at Dahlia. So photogenic. Dahlia.
So you were saying this Butcher's Table guy. He's got Butcher's the meatery.
The meatery.
Then he's got Delhi
Delhi.
by the meatery, and then he's got Butcher's Table. So
Yes.
there are 3 different places.
3 different. Yeah.
And they all at Jalan Klapa?
it's
No.
different,
So
yes.
where are the rest of the
Okay,
outlets?
so the meatery.
And what is the meatery?
The meatery, it's actually a butcher place where you can get all your meats and
Oh,
like,
right,
cook them.
okay,
It's
to
at-
take home.
Yeah, to take home. It's at 10 Jalan Gelanggang,
Which is also it's I think Langgang is somewhere else.
it's near
isn't it?
Sembawang, I think.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
It's near Sembawang. So you go there to actually get all your meat produced and sauces as well. They have like chimichurri that they make on their own.
Okay.
And then we have Delhi by the meatery, which I would say it's at Sunset Way. It's quite far from me, but I've been there many times. It's
Oh
so
wow.
delicious.
Okay. So it's all like in different spots.
In different
It's just
Okay.
here. It's just
Okay.
close by.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday
to you. Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday
to you.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, dear Glenn.
Aw.
Happy birthday to you.
So sweet.
His birthday
Thank you,
is in
everybody.
2 days,
Thank
but you
you.
won't be here. Make a big
Yeah.
wish.
How do you know I like this flavor a lot?
Make a big
I love
wish.
Haagen-Dazs.
We know you love
Belgian
Haagen-Dazs.
chocolate. Okay.
Make a wish. Make a wish.
Thank
Okay.
you. What a unique candle.
Isn't it cute?
Do you make this candle?
Yes, yes. We made the ice cream as well. Hang on, coming up.
Ice cream, ice cream, ice cream.
What a perfect song. Ice
Exactly.
cream. Yeah.
Blackpink featuring Selena Gomez. Ice cream. And the girls just presented me with ice cream. And there was a candle,
A wiggly candle.
a wiggly candle. Now you see I got wax in the ice cream.
It's okay. It's good for your eyes.
Thank you, Angel. Thank you, Cheyenne. Thank you, Shalini. Thank you, Dahlia.
Yeah, that's your birthday ice cream because Glenn's birthday is in 2 days and he won't be here obviously because it's a Sunday. Then he'll be away for 2 weeks.
Oh, 2 weeks.
So we won't be able
Wow.
to celebrate with him. But we'll also be
Yep.
able to celebrate at USS later because we're going
yeah, that's
for
true.
an excursion.
Oh, nice.
We are going for
It's
it.
a team excursion.
When
the
was the
big
last time
show.
you were at USS?
I think last year.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah.
With friends or nephews and nieces or friends.
Yeah, I think
okay.
it's Halloween Horror Night.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're looking forward to it. It's been a while.
It has. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that we're going to talk about?
Yeah, I think we haven't spoken about
Charrbo.
on air
Yep.
Charrbo.
Yes.
Charrbo. Grill.
Charrbo.
Charrbo
yes.
Grill, yes. So this is, I would say, a hidden gem in Yishun, Charrbo Grill. So Charrbo, it's actually Hokkien for women, right? Yeah, so it's actually owned by two ex-former ITE lecturers, Nurhaida and Jessica. So they are known for actually grilling their meats and almost everything over kachi charcoal and also apple wood. So you do get a smoky aroma and also delicious wok hei taste. So the first dish, or my favorite dish from Charrbo Grill, is actually the chicken chop. So the chicken chop is grilled and also being smoked on apple wood, and also the vegetables are also being smoked there. So you know
Nice.
it's really very aromatic, and there's also mashed potato that's being served with it. It's for $8.90, and I think for
What
the
a
portion-
steal.
Yes, it's really very delicious. I think there's a quality in it. Yes, it's so good.
We have some pictures up on our Big Show TV if you're watching us. And you know what? You were talking about how difficult it is for women to go into a male-dominated industry like these two female ex-ITE lecturers, right?
Yep.
And talk about hard workers, yeah? These guys are located at Block 156 Yishun Street 11 if you want to look them up. They are open Monday to Sunday, so that's every day from 11:30 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. with only a 1 hour break in between.
Yes.
They don't even have a day off. I mean, that's crazy. So if you want to support women-founded, women-cooked for women, by women, all women.
Charrbo Grill.
Charrbo
everybody.
Grill is it? Block 156 Yishun Street 11.
Yes.
What a great story.
I really have respect for the two of
Yeah.
them.
I bet you
Well
they
done.
call each other Charrbo. Hey, Charrbo. Hey, Charrbo.
They
hey,
may,
Charrbo.
they may. You can find out more. It's Jessica Tan and Nurhaida Ramli. They're the ones that run it. Cool.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you very much, Dahlia, for
Thank
joining us today.
you.
I've got like
Ice cream,
Ice cream.
in your mouth. Yeah. Ice cream, ice cream.
Thank you. We'll see Dahlia next week.
Yes.
I'm not going to be around next week, but
fun.
make sure they treat you well, okay?
Of course, always.
Thank you.
All right. It's 8:59.
Go big or go. The Big Show. Kiss 92.
So fresh.
New